What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media, bringing you Ravens content every single day. If you want to see that daily Ravens content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. If you want to see that daily Ravens content, I already just said that, but let's get into today's video. Let's talk about an ESPN ranking list, okay? ESPN put out polls on, different players, analysts, coaches, all that type of stuff, to be able to figure out the top 10 players at every single position in the NFL. And not every position is released. Otherwise, Lamar Jackson's probably really low on it, and I'll talk about it when it comes out. But they did put out a list on, I'll go through the positions that they ranked. They did off-ball linebackers, corners, defensive tackles, edge rushers, safeties, and interior offensive linemen. So there were two Ravens that made this list, okay? Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Williams. So I'm going to be talking about them. Some surprises that didn't make the list. Marcus Peters. I don't know if they would consider Calais Campbell a defensive tackle because the Ravens play a 3-4 rather than a 4-3, even though he plays on the inside. So, I don't think I can criticize that one too much. But overall, those were the Ravens that ended up making it. Now let's talk about it. Because Marcus Williams was ranked as the 8th best safety. Now, here's the safeties that they ranked in order. Justin Simmons, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Kevin Byard, Derwin James, Budda Baker, Jesse Bates, Harrison Smith, then Marcus Williams, right in front of Antoine Winfield and Jamal Adams. Then the cornerback position was Jalen Ramsey, Marshawn Lattimore, Jair Alexander, Xavier Howard, J.C. Jackson, Denzel Ward, Pat Surtain, and then Marlon Humphrey. Finally, A.J. Terrell and Trayvon Diggs. So, guys, let me know what you guys think about this list, but I'm going to give my thoughts. I think I can understand both of those placements. I disagree with both of the placements, but I can understand it, all right? Marlon Humphrey ended up getting injured last season, and he was the only secondary player that was decent on that roster. I'm not trying to throw shade at Chuck Clark, but he's not great. He's a starter. Like, you can start him, okay? Anthony Averett was atrocious. Deshaun Elliott, I think, was wildly overrated. He was the only player in that secondary, and he had to be on an island every single play. And he struggled at times. He also had some really good games. So overall, he didn't play to the level that we're used to because he didn't have any assistance. No assistance whatsoever. Okay? Whereas when you look at a guy like Jalen Ramsey, who I think Jalen Ramsey is the best cornerback in the NFL, Jalen Ramsey also has Aaron Donald. Jalen Ramsey also has good secondary cornerbacks. Jalen Ramsey also has, some decent safety play. Marshawn Lattimore, I think Marlon's definitely better than Marshawn Lattimore, but I think Marshawn Lattimore is also incredibly underrated. So I'm fine with him being it too. I disagree. I think Marlon Humphrey should be top 3 though. I think he is right next to. I have him right next to Jair Alexander. I think it's Jalen, Jair, and Marlon Humphrey are the top 3 cornerbacks in the NFL. Okay, but I'm gonna let this one slide because they didn't get to see Marlon play with any players around him. He had to be the only guy, which makes it very difficult in a passing league and in a league where the Ravens have to go up against really good wide receiver cores, and it's just so difficult. Marlon had to guard Ja'Marr Chase, and did he do a good job? Not really. However, at the same time, every play was a one-on-one because they had to double T. Higgins because there was no way Anthony Averett would be able to cover him. They in some situations they're like, oh, we got to cover Tyler Boyd, and Marlon, you got to do your thing one-on-one. And it's like, okay. That's tough. That's a tough call. We saw Jalen Ramsey struggle in the Super Bowl against Mr. Ja'Marr Chase. He ended up getting the victory, overall, but it wasn't an easy lockdown. So I can understand the Marlon Humphrey placement. Then the Marcus Williams placement, I'm a bit disappointed by it. Justin Simmons, sure. Minkah Fitzpatrick, yeah, I don't think Minkah Fitzpatrick's the second best safety in the NFL by any means. I think Derwin James is number 1, and then it's probably Justin Simmons. But like Kevin Byard, I do not think that Kevin Byard is a better player than Marcus Williams. Okay, I don't think Harrison Smith is. I think Harrison Smith is underrated, but I don't think Harrison Smith is better. Jesse Bates, yeah, maybe. Buda Baker, I don't think so, but I can see why they gave it to him. But overall, like Marcus Williams on that Saints defense helped make it a really good defense. He's their secondary. He's the safety blanket. I get that they have Marshawn Lattimore, who, like I said, I think he's probably a top 5 cornerback in the NFL. They have him listed at number 2. I think he's great. However, the benefit that he has is he has Marcus Williams over the top, or at least he did. And so whenever they would go against teams like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, yes, he would be locking up Mike Evans. But Marcus Williams was making sure that Chris Godwin, that Tyler Johnson, that all the other weapons, Rob Gronkowski, all of them, are not getting behind that defense, and they are able to step up and make those plays. Okay? Marcus Williams made that defense great. The players above him on the list, most of them weren't the guys making their teams great. Kevin Byard was not making that defense great. All right? No disrespect to him. Minka Fitzpatrick is not the reason that the Steelers defense is great. However, he's a good portion, but it's TJ Watt. Like it's very clearly TJ Watt is the reason the Steelers defense is fantastic. The Ravens are not. When the Ravens play against the Pittsburgh Steelers, do you think that they're worried about Minka Fitzpatrick? No. That doesn't cross their mind because all that they think about is TJ Watt. Block him. Just block him. That's the only goal. All right? Derwin James, I can see it. Super versatile, able to make big plays. Buda Baker, that defense isn't great. And they have Chandler Jones, and they had J.J. Watt until he got injured. And I get he had a really good year, but I mean, he's not really making that defense great. Jesse Bates, you can argue it. I think it was more the pass rush, but Jesse Bates was pretty good. So overall, I think Marcus Williams should be number 5. All right. I think he's getting undervalued. I think putting Kevin Byard in front of him is a little bit disrespectful because Kevin Byard, while he's a good player, he's not like a defense-changing type of player. Marcus Williams is a defense-changing type of player. All right? He's had 2+ sacks or 2+ interceptions every year of his career. All right? He has been someone that you can consistently count on to make tackles, swat the ball, and overall play really good on the back end. Kevin Byard has been inconsistent a lot of times in his career, and he's made some Pro Bowls. I know he's made at least one Pro Bowl, but overall, this list isn't great. I don't think any of these rankings are very good. I think it's kind of ridiculous that Patrick Surtain was put in front of Marlon Humphrey, even though I think he had a great rookie year. Marlon Humphrey has proven that he can guard anybody in the NFL. All right? He's proven it. Pat Surtain has played 1 year. I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of annoying to see everyone hype up the Ravens secondary. And they're like, oh, look at all these guys that they got. And they're like, best secondary in the NFL. And then it comes to ranking them. And they're like, 8th best. But then when the Ravens start playing in the regular season, everyone's going to be like, oh, but they have, 3 top 10 players in that secondary. They have 2 top 5 players on their positions. The narrative is going to switch. When the season gets started and all those players start playing together and they're playing great football, it's not going to be, oh, well, Marcus Peters isn't actually a top 10 cornerback. And Marlon Humphrey's maybe the 8th best. And Marcus Williams is the 8th best. That's not what they're going to say. They're going to be like, they have 3 superstars and a rising superstar in Kyle Hamilton. It's unfair. But when it comes to the rankings, they don't talk about them like that. It's all narrative based, and people just want to, kind of rain on the parade. But let me know what you guys think about the rankings. Do they think they're good? When the other positions come out, when tight end, quarterback, probably offensive tackle I may talk about because we may get to see one of the Ravens players. Maybe it's Morgan Moses. Maybe it's Ronnie Stanley. Maybe we'll get to see him. Shout out to Ryan Jensen, though. Former Raven, number 6 on the interior offensive lineman. But, guys, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe for Daily Ravens content. Let me know what you guys think about this list. I don't think they're great. I don't think they're horrible. There wasn't anything ridiculous. Like, if Diggs was in front of Marlon Humphrey, I would have been throwing my monitor. But luckily he wasn't. So thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see all of you again tomorrow.